All right, well, thank you everyone for your time and for coming here and for having us in Hong Kong. It's been great. So my name is J.D. Lewis. I'm Vice President of Finance for Landstar Development Corporation. There we go. Okay, thank you. So Landstar Development Corporation is a family-owned real estate business. It is owned by the Milonis family, and we're based in Calgary, Canada, in the Western Canadian province of Alberta. The Milonis family, the roots of the real estate business were in the Milonis family's beginnings in the restaurant business. In the early 1970s, Mr. Jim Milonis came over from Greece, landed in Toronto, and was hired by a restaurant chain that was based in Toronto. Mr. Milonis then came out west to Calgary to expand the business and lead the western expansion of the Mr. Submarine franchises into Western Canada. Over the course of several years, the Milonis family ended up owning 13 restaurants and getting about 35 other people into the business as franchisees. And then the business was very successful. It grew very strongly. But in the early 1990s, Jim noticed a trend, and that was increasing competition in the fast food sandwich space in the form of Subway coming in hard into Canada with a lot of capital. So Mr. Milonis, having the vision, went back to the founding family in Toronto with a list of recommendations and a business plan to modernize and increase the attractiveness of the Mr. Sub product in order to compete with what he saw was a very strong, very experienced competitor coming in from the United States. At that point, the family behind Mr. Sub did not want to hear it. They thought we were going to remain the top sandwich operation in Canada and we can fend off any competition just the way we are. Jim did not like that answer, and using the incredible foresight and business acumen he developed, he began selling off the restaurant businesses, which were doing very well at that time, but keeping the real estate underlying them. So he had began purchasing the real estate that was associated with the sandwich shops in order to control his own destiny and be able to, go up and down as the market ebbed and flowed. So after the sale of most of the Mr. Submarine businesses in the early 1990s, Mr. Milonis then focused on real estate, and his eldest son, George, then came in and began working at Landstar Development Corporation, which was established in 1997, and at that point the family really went hard into the real estate business as the core operation. So we're based in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. It's a city of about 1.3 million people in the Western Canadian province of Alberta. Calgary has the highest income of any of the major cities in Canada at over $84,000 per capita. This is largely due to its position as Canada's oil and gas business capital. The province of Alberta contains the third largest oil reserve in the world, behind only Venezuela and Saudi Arabia. Canada currently produces about 4.5 million barrels of oil per day and exports about 3.5 of those, mostly to the United States. Calgary is not only an excellent place for business and incomes, but it's a fantastic place to live from a lifestyle perspective. We're about an hour away from the Rocky Mountains in the spectacular Banff National Park. And this year, in 2019, Calgary was ranked as the most livable city in North America by The Economist magazine and the number 5 most livable city in the entire world. It's a fantastic place to come. We believe that time is right now to begin investing in the Calgary market due to the low point on the economic cycle. Right now, we're just starting to come out of the oil and gas-based price crash that happened in 2015. And there are 3 major pipelines that are on the horizon to be completed to increase our export capacity and open new international markets for Canadian oil and gas. The Enbridge Line 3 will be running in late 2020 for about 400,000 barrels of new capacity. Trans Mountain expansion to export oil and gas to Asia will be completed in 2022 for another 600,000 barrels of capacity. And the Keystone XL will most likely be completed over the next 2 to 3 years for another 500,000 barrels of capacity. We believe the time is now to get into the Calgary market at the bottom of the cycle, establish a land position with an experienced family, and grow the business and reap the rewards as the Calgary economy regains its strength that has traditionally been the strongest in Canada. Landstar today is an efficient, lean, and agile team of 7 people in the office. We keep the costs low, the overhead low, and in this way we're all able to collaborate, communicate, and work very closely side by side day to day. The philosophy of the company is very much relationships and research driven. We value our relationships very, 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 very much, and we also look at research and data and numbers and make sure that what we're doing is backed up by real numbers in the market from third parties that we can understand and know and digest. The Milonas family also invests significant capital in every one of our projects, meaning there's complete alignment of investor interests with the Milonas family. We believe if we're going to ask you for your money, we should also be investing on the same terms, and we back it up with significant skin in the game. So now I'll quickly take you through a few of the opportunities we have for you to show you over the conference, and then I'll invite George Milonas, our President and CEO, to finish the presentation. So the closest in terms of time for investment is Form 17. This is a student-oriented rental building located in Calgary, Canada. There is a design in place for 179 units. It's less than 100 meters from the campus of the Southern Alberta Institute of Technology, which is a 12,500 student technical college that kind of services all of Southern Alberta for the trades, welding, carpentry, engineering technology, architectural technologists, all those types of things. It's also about 6.3 kilometers away from the University of Calgary, which is a 33,000 plus full-time student institution. So there is an LRT line, a light rail transit, right at SAIT that goes directly to the U of C, and there are also several bus routes along the Trans-Canada Highway. We have Blackman Bay in the Okanagan Valley in interior British Columbia, a large resort development that's under planning and land use at the moment. And we expect land use to be achieved in mid-2020, and it'll have about 300 plus units, a 240 boat slip marina, and it's about a $225 million total expected investment. We have the Crowfoot Crossing Seniors Project, a large mixed-use residential seniors retail building in a very high-value retail area of Calgary. It's zoned for up to 360,000 square feet of development, and we are looking at a seniors operator to partner with to then do the construction, and we will do the construction, and then we'll partner with them for long-term cash flow. Inglewood is in an emerging urban village on the outskirts of the central urban core in the business district. It's expected to be zoned for 210,000 square feet of residential and multifamily and retail development, and it's expected in Q2 of 2020. This will be the third project that we could kick off. Finally, we have our Legacy 16 project. This was the site of the Milonas family's very first Mr. Submarine restaurant. There's a design in place for 90 residential units, and it's on an excellent high visibility corridor on the Trans-Canada Highway in Calgary for excellent retail investment. So now I'd like to invite George Milonas, President and CEO of Landstar Development Corporation, to finish the presentation with the closing remarks. Thank you very much.
You're so tall, actually. I have to adjust the mic. Thank you for that introduction, JD. Thank you all for coming today. Let me do this. How's that? Thank you again for coming today. A key importance, obviously, in contemplating investments such as these and investment into Landstar Development Corporation is to answer the question why. Part of that question is answered because you are to become a part of a generational legacy, being a family-oriented real estate company that is now spanning into 2 generations. That is an attractive feature with active management from the family itself. It's a successful and established Calgary real estate family that has had a good track record over the years of its operation. The Milonas family invests in all projects for total alignment with investors and their interests over time. We have a combined real estate experience in the office of 127 years, and all lands shown here today are actually owned by the Milonas family and are located in high value and strategic locations throughout Calgary. So our projects will definitely offer investors with risk diversification by investing in Canadian real estate. And of course, with approximately 1.4 million square feet, buildable square feet of development in our pipeline, and including our track record, Landstar can deliver solid returns built to experience. Thank you very much. We're happy to answer any questions that you may have.